Okay, so picking up this week, I'm starting to work on this exhaust, the exhaust tips, locating them and putting the hangers in and all that good stuff. Just wanted to show you a little trick that I've come up with that's not really mine. I mean, they've got pliers that are stainless steel that are basically, they look like this, and vice grip, and they basically have a stainless steel strap that goes in this direction. Is connected to both ends, and it's pretty wide. I guess it's about an inch wide, and then it has holes on like the 12 o'clock and the 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, so that you can tack through it. It's usually used for welding stainless steel exhaust systems up, TIG welding. A way to accomplish that that I've come up with without buying that tool is just take a hose clamp and drill out some holes so that I can spot weld through these holes while the hose clamp holds everything in alignment here. And then once that's done, then I could take the hose clamp off, and then I could continue to weld, finish up the weld around the pipe. Just thought I'd show you that not so clever little trick, but it helps me. Okay, here's the exhaust pipe with the exhaust tip attached, and I've got this 1/2-inch rubber block. And what I did to mock it up over here is I put it up on this, just blocked up this jack, and I jacked it up until it was tight up against the bottom side of the bumper, so it's a 1/2-inch space down and a 1/2-inch side to side. After that, I went ahead and I just tacked in these weld nuts. I've got to weld them up now, and you can see they're on the bottom, that framework that went across to hold up these side pieces for the wing and the bumper extensions here. So this area and this area here, I'm going to have two. Got these aftermarket muffler hangers, or whatever you want to call them, and they'll bolt in. Basically, I've probably got it backwards right here, but you get the idea. And then they get welded and then cut off, get welded to the tailpipe itself. And the reason I have one on either side is I want to minimize my movement side to side, so this doesn't clack off the side of the bumper. A 1/2-inch should be more than enough. I had about 1/4 of an inch on mine, and you know, it caused a little bit of issues every once in a while. You'd hear it do that number there, so I'd end up widening those out after the car was finished, which was not a lot of fun. But anyway, we'll try to stay ahead of it and use a 1/2 inch as spacing, and then one on either side of the tailpipe once it's up in here. And basically got to weld these up and then paint this all out before I go mounting this up, so I can get, you know, I can spray in around here nicely without having to worry about spraying the tailpipe itself. Anyway, moving on. Okay, I'll show you what I got going on under here. I got the this piece of tailpipe connected up, and you can see I have these two hangers. One's on a slight oblique, and one comes straight down. And what that does is it creates a little tension between the two while I still have movement because of the rubber blocks, which is all I really need, is to have that thing just be able to shake and shimmy a little bit with the engine vibration, but to keep it from hitting either side over here, it's suspended. One, you can only go so far. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that. One down, one to go. Anyway, that's what it's looking like relative to the bumper. And so got to get over to the other side and get that one done now. Okay, so that's the passenger side taken care of now on the exhaust system. It's all welded up, the hangers are in, everything's stabilized where it needs to go. And it's time to build the side closures for this area here. And I've got to come up with something here to connect the bottom of the bumper to this trunk pan over here. And so that's what I'll be up to next. Okay, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here exactly, but this is the Challenger frame rail, and it has a flange where it's basically seam sealed and spot welded together here. Well, I need to extend that flange down and create a surface here for me to screw the this filler panel in. You can see I already have this flange over here that I put in to the both quarter panels ahead of time, so that the panel that I put in here will be recessed up. So what I did was I measured across from this existing flange to a level point out here to determine, you know, this wedge shape here, so that it would basically be a nice flat panel on the bottom side. And I took some 50 thousandths aluminum, and I bent it to a 90 degree, trimmed it off to the angle, and then I had an extra 1/2 inch up added to this piece so that I would overlap. And the reason I'm choosing to just go ahead and rivet this in with some stainless steel pop rivets is the fact that there's so much seam seal connecting these pieces together. For me to weld a steel flange on here, basically it would just cause a lot of problems. Wouldn't be very good welds because the seam seal's between two sandwiched panels, so it'd just be a mess. So going ahead and just put, like I said, stainless steel pop rivets to hold this aluminum flange on here, and then I'll go across with my panel over here, working my way around these hangers and everything for the exhaust. Anyway, that's where I'm at, and I'll keep on going. Okay, so I've made up this panel pattern in some corrugated, so I needed it to be stiff, and the pattern papers will be a little bit too floppy to give me an accurate pattern. At any rate, I've decided, instead of making this out of ABS plastic, I'm gonna make this out of aluminum, just because of its proximity to the exhaust system over here. And as you can see, right here at this yellow tape right here, it kind of folds up a little bit and tucks in just behind the. This is the wheel tub, the plastic wheel tub, and it'll just be screwed to that back here. There'll be a rib on this over here. Screw this, and that'll tighten this whole section up. Anyway, that's the deal. All right, so here's that filler panel made up out of 040 aluminum. It's painted already, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with some this rock guard and gravel guard, because in no time this thing's going to be peppered, being it's only aluminum. So the rock guard will give it a hard surface to deflect stones from the road and stuff like that. Anyway, I went ahead and I ran some bead rolls in it in order to strengthen it up a little bit, front to rear. Also, what I've done is I've attached this rim with stainless steel rivets. That's where the back of the wheel tub, the plastic wheel tub, attaches to that right there. On the opposite side, what I've done is I've put some of this trim tape on here. It's very thin. It's only about 1/16 of an inch thick, but what that does, it means it won't be aluminum to aluminum, which might start to buzz and rattle. The other thing I've done is I put a little sound deadening material on here also, so that it doesn't set up any kind of a vibration. Like I said, originally this was going to be plastic, which then there wouldn't have been any issues with any kind of vibration, but I just didn't think that it being close to the exhaust over here was a wise idea. At any rate, that's what it looks like, and I'm getting ready to put it up inside the car after I paint it. All right, so this is what it looks like in place. Anyway, you can see I've run this, this is the drain hose that comes down from the gas fill, a little bathtub I've got up there, and it's all painted out with the rock guard, and so hopefully that's good to go. And I got to get over to the other side and do it again. Okay, so now I'm working on this center panel over here, just to close up from this trunk pocket here over to the rear of the bumper. So what I'm doing right now is I'm mocking up a pattern. This is a very uneven shape here, but it has some studs already on it for a number 10 nut to go onto that normally holds the plastic closure that's on the Challenger. So I've got one here, I've got one here, Got one here, and then also this one here is jogged up a little bit. So I've got to first make a panel that's going to fit up here, and then it's got to roll up here. And then I've got this stick going across here from end to end, laying on top of my end panels, because I want to bring it up to basically level with those. So I'm coming across, going to go up, then I'm going to go across this way, straight across, and then I've added this aluminum flange, at 50 thousandths aluminum. I tied it into those nut certs that I originally had to tie this to the original roll pan that I removed. So they came in handy, and I'll be screwing this panel right to this. I'm going to be making this out of ABS from here to here, but from here I'm going to make it out of 40 thousandths aluminum black, and then I'll just basically seal it up in the front over here with some waterproof tape, so that we don't get any flapping going on along that edge over there. Anyway, that's what I'm up to. Okay, so after taking that mock-up out, getting my bearings with that, and taking my measurements and patterns and everything, this is what the piece is going to look like underneath. Basically, all this is doing is that's a really irregular shape under there, the trunk pan, and I just need to straighten it out and give myself a nice even flange over here to go from here to the bumper. And so this takes in all the irregularities, this shape over here. And then I've got this little bit of a roll going here. As you can see, it's faceted. I did it on the sheet metal brake, 1/4 inch at a time. And then it goes up and then bends over and creates this 3/4 of an inch flange that I could attach my my ABS plastic to. Anyway, that's what it looks like, and I'll show you what it looks like in place. All right, before I put this in, I have to do the same thing I did with my lower quarter panel closures, and that's to put a little sound attenuation material, sound deadener, on here. And also I use this 3M Extreme, excuse me, it's not 3M, it's Scotch brand Extreme. It's like a double-faced tape. It's used for mounting emblems on cars and stuff like that. It's better be sure where you're going to, you use this tape, you better be sure you're going to put it where you want it, because getting it back off is almost not going to happen. So basically I just leave the release paper on the back side over here, because what I'm looking to do again is just put a thin barrier between, so it's not metal on metal, which would create a little bit of a buzz or a rattle or anything. So it's basically a 1/16 of an inch of foam, which is a thin enough it's a thin enough application that it doesn't cause a lot of buildup and cause issues with the fit. And then, of course, so that the panel itself doesn't have any issues, I put this sound deadener that I've been putting throughout the car on there. All right. Okay, so this is what this is looking like. I don't know if you can see what I've got here, but the pan has now got a uniform shape across the backside. And I've yet to attach, there's one more tab I have to attach to this stud here. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here. Those are stock studs for the stock closure on the Challenger. At any rate, this gives me a nice flange over here. So I can go from this flange back to this flange here and complete the closure to the back bumper from there. But I got a little more work to do to it. As you can see, I painted it out with a stone guard here. And I also did the bottom of the trunk pan with the stone guard so that this would all match and look uniform. I had somebody point out to me that, you know, when they were following me in my car, they could see this whole pan under here. Of course, my cars, like these cars, they're gray underneath. They're all kind of uniform. So he said, man, you need to paint that out black, which I've never gotten around to. But it's true. I've taken some photos from the back of the car. It doesn't look bad, but, you know, this whole area here being blacked out looks a little bit better. But that's where I'm at with that. Well, still got a lot of little twizzling to do. And I add this little corner piece over here because it just didn't look right, squared off with everything else nicely rounded over here. So I'm going to stop there for this week. I still have to make this panel here. But as I'm putting stuff like this in, which is all squared up to the chassis, and you know, nice and straight and everything. Different things are coming to be evident. Things like with the back bumper, it has a little bit of a crown in the bottom here, where it should flow in the other direction. It should swoop down a little bit here, and it does not. So I'm going to have to do some work there. These little scallops here don't quite fit the shape of these exhaust tips, especially this one on this side over here. And so got a little work to do. But now that I have different relational points, you can see a nice flat air dam underneath there, that little panel. It really shows up the way this thing arcs over. So, well, it was expected. Kind of flying blind until you start to close in on the finish, and then you start to see some of the details. But anyway, that's what it's all about. And I appreciate everybody for watching, and I will see you on the next one.